Hey guys, as promised, I'm gonna be doing more videos about my experience with Nikon Z6III, and specifically in this series, I'd like to focus on some issues that I have with Nikon. So hopefully guys from Nikon will watch this and maybe take notes and fix some of these or maybe all of those issues with the future firmware updates. So let's break it down in a few videos so it's easier to focus on each specific issue. And today let's start with my issue with rigging this up and specifically using the external monitor. So I know I might use a little bit of a clickbait title and thumbnail. You can easily rig this up, you can use an external monitor, no issues in terms of you can do this, but just like some of the quirks that it has using it, they're just ridiculous in my view, and most of the people who are using external monitors will agree, especially if you're planning to use the external monitor with a Nikon, it's a Nikon Z6III. Okay, so the first one being the layout itself, because the native Nikon display is, I think it's 3x2, right? And when you connect it to the external monitor, which is 16:9 or 16:10, which is my case, and I'm using an old View monitor which I bought for my Blackmagic Pocket Original. It was like a long time ago. Anyway, it's a View. It's an amazing monitor for the price and for the age it has. They have new models. I didn't test them out yet. I would like to, but I really like this company. Not sponsored, by the way. Anyway, so when you connect Nikon to the external monitor, it kind of uses the same aspect ratio, even though like you can set the settings in the monitor which aspect ratio or it automatically picks it up. Anyway, it's gonna use the 4:3 or 3:2 aspect ratio of the display, the built-in display of Nikon, and like it takes a lot of space out of the usable space that you can use. So it has all these black bars around and all the info is somewhere around. So it's not really well adapted for using an external monitor. I mean the interface in general, because you get all this space that you could have used, but you don't. The solution to this is to use a clean video output, which kind of gives you the whole aspect ratio, 16:9 aspect ratio of the video that you're outputting. But the problem with that, and there are two problems with, so basically you're losing the layout, so you cannot use the built-in histograms, waveforms, the autofocus metering, like the focus metering, the false colors, and most importantly the tally light that tells you when the recording is on. So when you press record, there's no red dot or red outline that shows you that the recording is on, so you're kind of blind in that situation. And while you can use the monitor on top to look at your ISO or your shutter angle, you cannot even see if you're recording or not. So that's the big issue for me. You kind of have to use the small monitor to see your white balance and your recording status. So that's a little annoying because I don't really like to have this monitor open because I can like bump into it or like break it, so it's not really convenient for me. I would prefer to have it closed. And since there's no interface layout when you're using the clean feed mode, you kind of can't really monitor exposure properly because, well, your LUTS is, again, it's not a proper LUTS, so I wouldn't trust that. I can turn on waveforms and zebras on my monitor, but I don't really trust how well they meter it over the HDMI and analog footage that it gets. I kind of tweaked it into working similarly to what my camera monitor shows, but I actually wouldn't trust that 100%, so yeah. And I think this issue can easily be fixed with the firmware, because if you take a look at how Blackmagic does it, how Panasonic does it, you practically have a clean feed output, but you have all the layouts on top of that clean feed. You have your recording status, you have your eyes, so you have basically pretty much all the layout, but it's on top of the clean feed, so you get all of your external monitor screen used, and you don't have all that black unused space. So yeah, that's something I think Nikon should take a look into, and it is quite a big thing. The second big thing, and it also can easily be fixed with firmware, I guess, is LUTS support. Externally, it doesn't support LUTS at all, so it is outputting the log image. If you're shooting in analog, you're outputting a log image. There is no way to turn it on in camera, so anyway you're going to be outputting the analog. So it's a little bit of a bummer if you plan to use this camera as your webcam, because you're kind of outputting analog and you have to do some weird tweaks with software to like apply a lot to it. Like I do it with OBS, I apply a lot to it in OBS and it's fine, but if you plan to use it as a webcam, like in Discord or whatever you're using, that's some issues there. So you're gonna have the monitor that supports LUTS, and I would trust somewhat with colors, and it doesn't really matter because 10-bit are plenty enough to tweak the colors, those minor details, but I definitely wouldn't trust it 100% when it comes to exposure. So gotta be careful with that. And another big issue, and again I guess one of the biggest when I'm using the external monitor with this camera, is the blackouts. So when you press record it's fine, but when you press stop recording it blacks out for like 2-3 seconds, and you kind of like staring at a black screen for like 2-3 seconds, I guess, when the file is saving or something like that. But it is stupid and ridiculous because the display on Nikon, the built-in display, it doesn't black out, and I think it's the only camera I owned that blacks out when you stop recording. I don't think Panasonic did it. I don't quite remember. I didn't use Panasonic with an external monitor that much because of that freaking delay. But this one, yeah, it blacks out. Blackmagic definitely doesn't black out. And this is stupid. It's really distracting because you might press stop accidentally and you would like to start recording again. And you have no image for 3 seconds. And those 3 seconds sometimes can be crucial. You can lose a frame, you can lose a shot. So that's something that Nikon, please just fix this. Screw everything else, just fix the blacks out, because it is really important, especially if I'm planning to shoot documentaries with it. And this camera has so much potential for filming documentaries because of the frame rates, because of the codecs, and because of how fast it turns on. But you gotta fix issues with blackouts. It's really important. So I guess these are my top 3 issues using an external monitor. If I find out some more, I will definitely tell you. These are the ones that I have so far, and they bother me a lot, and I hope Nikon will really fix it with firmware updates. Other than that, it's all good. It still has a little bit of lag. It's way better than Panasonic, still a little bit worse than Blackmagic, but way better than Panasonic. It is actually usable. I can pull focus with it, I can use pans, and there's not going to be an issue with using that. I still like this camera very much, and I still intend to film a few documentaries and commercial works with it in the next few months, and I'd really like to test it out in a proper environment, which is going to be the case here. So that's why I'm testing it out extensively right now at home and telling you guys what I think. So I hope you like this little series. Please share your opinion in the comments below. If you have any issues, please mention them in the comments below as well. If you're active on Nikon forums or you know someone from Nikon who can address these issues, please do that. And yeah, have a good one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.